Hello,
How's it? Are you?
good and you?
I'm very well, thank you. No complaints. Sun's shining in Cape Town. It's a great day. Hang
Ah,
on, there's someone shouting outside my window in Cape Town. I need to close it so that I don't have to listen to it, so it can stay a great day. Hang on 1 second. I suppose like 3% of Cape Town, I stay on Main Road because it's a very
oh,
long road, and so yeah, I get my fish of of noise, and I guess it's that time of day now. So yeah.
um, I work from home, so my neighbor's little boy tends to throw tantrums every now and again, and I hear that.
It must be quite funny though. If you're
Not
not
when
the
you're in
mother,
a
it's
Zoom
quite funny.
meeting.
Oh
No,
yeah,
not when
well,
you're in a Zoom meeting.
yeah, true. You know that there's I forget what it's called, but you can Google it. There's a it'll come to me just now. There's a software that you can use when you're having like these Zoom calls, right? And what it does is it blocks out all of the noise. So if I used it, for example, now in this session, and let's say your dog started barking, yeah, you would hear the dog, and it would be irritating to you, but no one else will hear it. It like blocks it out. So it blocks out everybody. It only focuses on the voices of the people that are speaking. It's quite brilliant.
That's cool.
And
Very cool.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. But if you just Google something along those lines, that tech exists. It's quite clever. So anyway. How you, Mel?
I am exceptionally well, thank you, sir.
Oh, that's
Hello,
very good.
everybody.
Here we
Hello.
go. I'm going to visit Somerset West later today.
Are you really?
I've never been there. I've got a client that's having a 10-year anniversary and they invited me. So I said, yeah,
You've
I'll go.
never been there.
Never been there.
I'm from the Eastern Cape and I've been there. Shocking business. Shocking.
Hey, I'm from Gauteng. I just live in Cape Town now. Yeah, it is shocking. The little I've done since I've been here. So I've tried to make a bit of a better effort, and I think next year will be the year that we definitely do that. So oh, I would like to do more than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's lovely. My husband actually lived there for a couple of years.
oh,
Yes.
okay. So it says it's good.
I have a special a person here with me. Come say hello. Oh, he's too shy now. No, come. They'd love to meet you. Come. Oh, he's shy. Maybe he'll come just now. He
Oh, that's all
normally
right.
comes and says hello when I'm on a Zoom. My grandson is with me, and he's having a play date with Granny today. So
It's fantastic.
he's
Yeah, you
here.
know, I don't know if you guys remember, but you know, when COVID started, because obviously I was on Zoom a lot, and remember, I'm dealing with like accountants and financial advisors, very professional people. So every time you'd get on,
Definitely.
you'd get onto Zoom, you'd like see this, you know, and then every now and again you'd see like a kid is like trying to crawl, but it's like head pops up, you know, and then the parents would go all colors of green and yellow and you know they're so embarrassed. Now it's like, okay, hang on, all right, come, just 1 second. Sort it out, because like it's just become so normal. But I always chuckle when I think sort of pre-Zoom days how we were. The professionals in particular, oh, they were stuck up. It's all changed
Yeah,
today.
yeah, but
I think
that's
maybe
now go, Chantal.
I think maybe they were not sure what to expect then, what they were not allowed. That's why I don't think it was really stuck up. It was probably they didn't know what to expect.
Oh, they were defaulting to self. But you know, the defaulting to the norm was fine until you realize, well, the norm has changed. And then as soon as everybody worked out that it had changed, then it changed. It'll never go back to like it was. It's,
Remember
it's
those
kind of fun.
CNN guys? The one guy was an analyst, and he was, I think, in Singapore,
Yeah.
and they were interviewing him, and his office door was open, and he had a 3-year-old, and he had a couple of months old, and the couple of months old was in a walking ring, and so the 3-year-old came in and disturbed it and he's trying to shoe the child.
I remember that.
And then the little one came in with a walking ring, and the younger mother comes crawling on the floor, trying desperately to get
No,
his
I saw that all the time. It's like the funniest thing. I try to stop myself from laughing. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
no,
just,
that's very funny.
yeah.
But there
Anyway,
have been some embarrassing and naughty ones too. I mean, it's what not to do
well,
when
you
you're
shouldn't do
on.
Zoom naked. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't there
Ah.
an official or something having a Zoom meeting and his wife or girlfriend kept walking in the background naked? And then they were like, we have spoken about this. Can you please stop that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
So,
think some people's brand went down considerably during Zoom.
anyway,
Uh,
all right. Let's dive in. Hopefully, we'll get joined by one or two others. I haven't had anybody say they're not
Jared
coming today, so I'm not.
Jared has just sent a message.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Disha
Yeah.
also offers her apology. She's got a meeting
Okay.
this
Cool.
afternoon.
All right. Righto. Oh, that's no good. That can go over there. 1 second. Yeah, I can see everybody. Okay, so today, getting close to finishing up the about section. We'll finish it next week. Today's very important piece, right? We're going to talk a little bit about credibility builders. And not only important for LinkedIn, it's actually important for all of us, because this is the stuff that actually gets people to trust us, and this is the stuff that makes the sale. So as usual, let's just do a quick recap. So we started on week 1 with picking our niche, which is that group of people that are most likely to buy our products and services. And we came up with our magic message, also known as the LinkedIn headline, where we were going to solve the biggest problem that people had. And typically the rest of what we do is generally geared towards substantiating that message. And then we spoke about having the profile pic and the banner, and particularly having the ability to call out to that niche, that ideal client, so we're letting them know that they're in the right place. Then we started the about section, and we have to beat the dreaded see more button. And so we spoke about having a hook that's going to get people's attention because it's a little bit out of the ordinary maybe. And then just a value proposition statement so that they know what we do, whether it's actually worth their while to click on the see more button. Then we spoke about your why story. And this is quite an important one. In many ways, this is often the big differentiator actually in profiles and actually in marketing in general nowadays. You know, when there's so many different people competing in a space, when you have a story that resonates with the people that you're dealing with, it changes everything. And this is also the one thing that AI cannot duplicate. Like there's only one you, and your story is very, very unique. Then homework for this week. Last week we spoke about the expanded value proposition. So that's just really telling people a few more things that they might need to know about your product or service. And the way we were thinking about that is essentially this is your sales page, and as you're not there to answer questions or objections, you kind of need to pre-think that and put that information onto your profile. So we'll run through that with you guys in just a second, and obviously that's what the template looks like. So we're here now with credibility builders. Next week we'll combine these two, and then we'll finish up with the about section, and then we can get it all spick and span for everybody. Then the last section we'll really do after that will be the experience, and then we'll get into sending messages and all of those cool things. So before I dive into credibility builders, let me come back and let's just go through it, and let's just chat about expanded value proposition. So Lisa, you are first in line because that's how it turns out you're on my screen. So unlucky or lucky first.
Okay.
Hang on, if I maybe let you share share screen, that also help.
I just need to find the link to LinkedIn.
Well, while you're looking, I just want to say that I'm very proud of Chantel because Chantel, woo, her and Lisa rocked it this week.
All right.
So,
What did they do? No,
you
tell.
will see now.
Oh,
You're gonna
oh,
see.
all right.
I just want to say, just first up, proud of you, Chantel. Woo-hoo.
For someone that
I'm proud of Lisa.
well, Chantel.
Lisa painted on the canvas, but you were the canvas.
Yes.
So
I made
so
it
for,
look pretty.
so for
Just goes
someone
to show why Lisa does what she does.
for someone
Sorry,
that was a
James.
technophobe before we started, this is like,
Yeah.
who is this person? I don't even recognize them.
Okay. Yeah. I thought there wasn't any homework, but I did work on my about page. And gave a little bit more insight into like the why I studied what I've studied.
All right, can I ask you, would you mind making that a touch bigger?
Okay.
Because the blind people can't see.
I don't know, like to me, if I do it this way, it makes it bigger. Did that make it bigger or did it make it smaller?
No, just made it same size, just less of it. Yeah, if you just click on Control and plus, that should just and then if you want to get it down again, you go Control minus. Control plus.
Oh, there we go.
There
And you
we
see,
go.
I'm working on an Apple, so I have to find the right
Oh goodness,
button.
okay. Yeah, I don't speak Apple. Sorry.
Okay, I found the button.
Okay. All right. Well, take us through what you got.
Okay. So I basically just spoke about why I became a designer. So I've always been a creative type. Initially, I dreamed of studying architecture until my math grades decided otherwise. Plan B, interiors designer, but during my gap year in the US, I discovered graphic design and was instantly hooked. The rest is history. Now I'm a designer obsessed with crafting designs that make clients say, wow, and I'm all about giving my best minus the complicated math. And then the rest is, so I don't know if that's correct.
I'm just hanging. I'm just contemplating that for a second. Yeah, actually, that's fine.
So I can refresh it and you can see what's.
So
Yeah.
what I would say to you though, in terms of the template,
Yeah.
and the template's quite sound. Okay. When I say the template's quite sound, when you look at it, let me just pull this back and show you. So I think this will be useful for everybody. Sorry,
Okay.
one sec.
So stop share.
No, I'll do it. No worries. When
Okay.
you look at this template actually, and everything that we've done and we're doing now, I would say 1, 2, and 7, right? Let's say those are the things you want to cast in stone, sort of, because they're the sort of the top and the tail of this whole thing. So we've got to get them to buy in, and there's got to be like a really, really good reason. And then obviously the call to action, which we'll do next week, is telling them what we want to do next. These other 4 pieces that we're doing. So we've done 2, and we're about to do number 3 today, and then number 4 next week. These 4 pieces, right? You could actually do them individually, but they could also be sort of meshed into the story. So when we spoke about stories and everybody started to dig a little bit deeper, even though you weren't thinking about it, you actually all in some way probably covered a little bit of extended value prop, a little bit of credibility, and maybe even some personal relatability. So there's really 2 ways to do it. You could be very staccato and just follow the formula and then cover this, cover that, cover the next thing, or you could just build it into the story. Okay, but the first bits are really important to get you in. So looking at your introduction now, you're almost starting actually at number 3. Okay, so you've got to hook people first before they give you the time of day.
Okay.
Sad as that may be. So that being said, just looking at this, I'm saying think about this for a second. Let's for now anyway. You can change this later if you desire. But try to be strict with 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 7, right? So let me give you back the screen, and then I'll show you what I mean.
Mm.
And so the reason 1 and 2, by the way, is so important is because of this short attention span that people have. I genuinely believe that when somebody gets onto your LinkedIn profile, you probably have about a second, literally 1 second, to get their attention and for them to decide whether they're going to stay on your profile and scroll or they're going to bounce. And it's not as ludicrous as it sounds, because you know, in this instant gratification world that we're in, people have got faster and faster at doing things. And when you look at a LinkedIn profile for the first time and you look at all those elements that we've spoken about until now, the eye takes in a lot of information, makes a decision. So once we've got them to scroll, now we need them to click the see more button, because as you will see, this section that we're looking at now, the about section, it's like your sales page. Actually, it does a lot more than that, as we've discussed, as we've built out each individual piece. But really, that's what it is. And remember, we're selling ourselves actually more than the service, because people are buying us. That is the reality. People can get our services anywhere, but typically the reason that they've chosen us is because there's some sort of resonance with us, right? And so we're letting people into our worlds of it. We're letting them know a little bit about us. But at the end of the day, we still have to be useful to them, and we need to be able to solve the problem that we purport to solve, and it needs to be a problem for them. Okay, so when you look at your intro there, it's almost like you started with a story. And the sad news is, until people know you, they don't really care about you.
Yeah.
And that's just the general truth. So you've got to get the attention, get them to click the see more button, because you know about micro commitments, right? Once they click that button, they're in. They'll scan it at the very least. And I will show you guys in a week or two's time how to format this a little bit better, so that it's nice and easy to read. So don't stress about that. But yeah, that's the key thing, is to get them in. Once they're in, then they'll typically read. So what I like to do is have that strong start, hook them in, and then I'm quite happy to flow back into the story. Hey, let me tell you a bit about myself, because it doesn't have to be long involved, but oftentimes, because a story is fantastic. Like you can build anything you want to say into the story. Think about that for a second. So these 4 pieces that I spoke about, like you can create a story and just make each piece part of the story. That's a really, really effective way to create a LinkedIn profile, because very few people do it and it can't be duplicated. Anyway, so that was a bit of a long preamble, but I would just look for something of a stronger hook. Because I think that's your story. I've always been the creative type.
Yeah.
So maybe you can comment on that, and maybe we'll look at that for you next week.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. And then I did, like I said, I didn't think there was homework yesterday. I obviously was thinking about 110 other things. But yeah, maybe somebody else can go and I will fix it for next week.
I'll tell you what, just scroll down, because you might have it actually. In all honesty, let's just see what you got. Okay, there you have it. All right, so yeah, you need to just maybe just watch the replay and have a look.
Okay.
And then pop in. All right, cool. Righto, very, very good. Thank you. Chantel, I'm dying to see this. Like, the anticipation has been killing me. Tell us. You got to talk us through it. You're on mute.
Unmute. Look at that gorgeous cover photo, James.
Very nice.
Isn't that impressive?
Very nice.
Very impressive.
Very nice. Chantel, you're on mute.
On mute.
Yeah,
Okay,
so you've been talking to no one in particular for the last 30 seconds.
Thank you, Lisa. Look here.
Well done.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
It is.
Okay. So, I hope I got this homework right. About.
Yes.
I was pretty much surrounded by real estate from the start, with a mom who was an agent, my partner at the time who was also an agent in the business, a daughter working in rentals. The world of real estate was naturally woven into the fabric of my life. Sometimes when you're immersed in the industry like that, it's almost like the universe nudges you towards it, whether you actively pursue it or not.
I might have the same coin to Lisa. That
Leave
looks
me
like
alone.
story. Eh?
Just leave me alone.
No, but
Oh, that was a good hook.
I see where your head's going, and kind of half. So you're half now. I think that the issue is there's a little bit of interest there, but I'm not sure I care yet. Okay, I'm playing prospect now. Obviously, when I say that, not me personally, and I say that because I don't quite know where that's going. I'm not quite sure what you're doing. Technically, I should know because I saw your banner and everything. But as I read this, is this bringing me in? I like to really hit them hard with that.
This is what's supposed to bring you in.
That's part of it. That's the bit that hooks you. But people are going to scroll, and then they've got to click the see more button. You know,
Okay.
so is it? And you know, one thing I must tell you, and it's probably not just LinkedIn. It's everything. Is like never make the assumption that people have seen stuff.
I think that I've made a mistake here because of the way that I understood the homework. I thought that we were supposed to put something about ourselves here.
No, but what you've done is perfect. It's just not. It's not in the right place.
Okay.
So we'll see when you click this more. No. That's fantastic. What you have, it's brilliant. It's just there just needs to be something just to hook them into to click the button. But that as an intro story is great because I'm learning a lot about you, and I was like, okay, she definitely knows her stuff, and there's definitely a passion here. But you just need to tell people what you do. There's different people look at LinkedIn a little bit differently in the way that some people go to a specific place, etc. So we try to we try to implement it as best we can, but we've got to try to compensate for everybody, and they've got to click that see more button. So I would make that a little bit stronger.
I'm going to change this and say see nude to see nude video.
Well, hang on.
See more, and then they can read my stuff.
Click see more. Let's see what you got. Hang on. Maybe you just got to tweak something around. Right?
So
Okay.
you told me I must tell a story of how I got into real estate.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So in 2022, life had thrown me a curveball and I was forced to change my career due to relocating. If anyone thinks that packing up and moving across the country is an easy and fun adventure, then I can give you some advice. It's stressful, hard work, and traumatic. So find an agent that will treat you with kindness and be understanding to the struggles that you are going through.
Very nice.
I have decided to take real estate to a different level where people's stresses are taken into consideration. Developing close relationships with my clients makes the transition so much easier, knowing that you have a person to call when things get just too much. Being a property owner and dealing with tenants, rental collections, maintenance, advertising, and viewings can be very tiresome, especially if you have a full-time job too. That is why I'm here. I want to take the stress of owning rentals off of your shoulders, but I also want to be a great agent for my tenants to communicate with when they are experiencing any problems. Building a good and solid relationship with owners and tenants is what I take to heart. Heart meaning our logo heart. In today's day and age, technology is a way to go and everyone is going paperless. But what about the grandmother that rents from me and has no idea how to use a computer or a smartphone? I don't leave anyone behind. I will work for you with my whole heart. And then there's other stuff.
No, carry on.
Okay. What can the property shop offer you? Free valuations, marketing on all platforms, constant communication and feedback, tenant credit checks, and screening inspections. I found that as agents, we tend to dive right into the job and forget to consider the client's work and family times. I take that into consideration and plan viewings at times that are convenient to the seller and to the seller, owner, and tenant.
You know how much better this is than before. Like this is such a for an estate agent, quote unquote, whether it's rentals or otherwise, like that all just makes so much sense. If I'm reading that, right, I'm definitely sucked into that because everything you say is true, and just the way that you've put it down and it's come across. See how it's linked to your story. So even that first bit about your mom, blah blah blah. Then I moved across the country. Oh, it was crap. And now you're into it. Now I get it. It's like, so it's not that, oh, I'm telling you I take you to heart. Now I believe you because your story tells me. It's
Okay, so
subtle.
just over here, I'm going to put, if you want to see nude pictures, press see more, and then this will come up. I've gripped them. They're there. It's done. Finished.
Maybe not, but yeah, what the hell? Do it. I'd love to see it. So listen, even if you didn't change anything, right, and you kind of left it, it actually would be fine to be honest with you. But there might be something a little bit stronger to hook them. But you're right, you know, to be honest, yours is quite clear. You've been very clear in your banner. The banner leads very nicely into the value prop, the value prop into what you're doing. So assuming they've read all that and they've taken it to heart, so to speak, then hopefully they would click on it. But you might be able to find something that's a little bit stronger just to entice them.
Play around with it.
Because your start's part of your story, actually. And I just sort of judging from the left, you've probably got a fair number of characters that you can still play with. So I think you're fine. And then, sorry, just scroll down a little bit. You've also covered today's brief, which is all about the extended value proposition. So, you know, when we talk about the extended value prop, really, it's not something you've got to sit down and study. You just say to yourself, look, if somebody was thinking of using me in my business, so in your case as a rental agent, what would they want to know, right? And you just answer those questions, which you've done, right? So your story has done the real selling job for you. Okay, and just in case they didn't get it, you've been sure to tell them that, like, you're the person with heart and you take them into consideration. But not only that, but all the other stuff is there. So I know what you do. I know all the things. If I have a question, it's probably answered, right? Yeah, I love that bit about the grandmother, by the way. That's genius. That's fantastic. Okay, that this is one of those things where that says so much. One little line in a story tells people so much about you and the way that you operate versus another agent. See how powerful, when I say story is powerful, this is what I mean. It's fantastic that. This is a really good profile, actually, the way that this has come out. When people read this, they're going to be very, very happy to work with you. So now imagine that you're up against, I'm now looking for a home, or anybody's looking for a home, and now you're up against 2 or 3 other people and looking at profiles. Who do you think they're speaking to? And when somebody refers you, right, now they know what they're referring, who they're referring. The person gets to the profile and reads it, they're immediately at ease. It's like, okay, I'm in. This is really good. This is very, very good. Well done.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Cool.
Okay, I don't have to post any photos. Thank you.
No. Post the photos.
Thank you.
Post the photos.
How do I say?
All right, cool. Esther, you've been very quiet today.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You've been accountant quiet, in fact.
No, I'm here and I'm listening. Do you want me to share my screen?
We do.
Okay. So I already jumped the gun, so I'm just going to share what I've already done.
Okay.
Yep. Can you see?
We can.
Okay. I already had, clicked on see more.
Okay,
So
that's
let me
fine.
refresh. There we go.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we saw
skip
that.
all of
That
that
was all very,
before.
very cool. Yeah.
And then I don't know where I stopped last time. I think I stopped here. How
Yeah.
so this basically tells them how they can start, how we can start working with them. So it's free consultation, carry out compliance checks, provide with a detailed plan to get your company back on track. And then as we implement, we guide and educate you on the processes and importantly, on your business, most importantly, on your business finances. And then just a list of all the services we provide, and then some testimonials from my clients. And then just lastly, asking them if they're really serious about getting their business compliant and being
Very
stressed.
good.
Yeah, please get in touch with us.
That's great. So, like your value proposition, if you just scroll up just a touch, the extended value proposition from How I Help. It's like it really doesn't have to be much more than that. And in fact, well, actually, you've got it in there, the How I Help. So there's a little bit of an insight into what it's like to work with you, and then, as you said, the stuff that you do. So
Yeah, I just wanted them to know that I care.
yeah,
Because sometimes you just get a client and you start working, but for us, we do a thorough check and we do all of those things, which yeah, just wanted to make sure that they know we check
yeah,
all of those.
100%. Yeah, very good, very accountant-like, very efficient.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, that does the job, and you've handled today's session as well, which I'll go
Yeah,
through now.
I jumped the gun. Sorry.
No, all good. That's all good.
Okay.
All right. Well, you see, typical accountant, very efficient, short, sweet. That's all done. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what I want to tell you today.
And Mel, is Mel not sharing?
Oh goodness.
How
No,
did we
she's
forget?
undercover. She's
Oh,
undercover.
Mel,
Okay.
you nearly
It's
got
okay.
away with that. Bastard. Thanks,
Yeah,
Chantal.
busted,
Thanks.
busted.
Thanks to the accountant for holding me accountable, huh? Okay, so here is mine. So we've got bing, 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 bing. So I did take into consideration what you had shared last week, and so I've swapped my two stories over. So this is what you see when you see that. In March 2009, my life was irrevocably altered in a moment that felt like a cruel twist of fate. A taxi T-boned the car carrying my husband and two sons, leaving all three in ICU. The doctors braced me for the worst, warning that I might lose both my sons that very day. One battled with physical injuries that shattered his body, while the other endured a traumatic brain injury that plunged us onto a long, challenging road to recovery. It took 2 years for the swelling in his brain to subside, and at 30, he faced the monumental task of relearning to walk. He was back to nappies, and part of his brain responsible for sleep was damaged. Sleeping tablets became his crutch, a solution that felt all too familiar as my mum had wrestled with her own sleep challenges and dependency on prescription sleep aids for decades. This personal crisis propelled me on a quest for natural and effective sleep solutions, driven by a desperate need to support my family's journey to wellness. This quest wasn't just about finding alternatives, it became a mission to uncover a holistic approach to sleep that could offer solace and healing, not just to my loved ones, but to anyone struggling with sleep. As a PhD student and a specialist wellness counselor, my work now focuses on the transformative potential of good sleep hygiene and essential oils to improve sleep quality. My approach is a blend of ancient wisdom and modern science, offering a comprehensive pathway to wellness that goes beyond just achieving a good night's sleep. It's about enhancing overall wellness as well as life's quality, vitality, and purpose. The journey began with a personal tragedy, but it has blossomed into a profound passion for helping others discover the restorative power of sleep. It's not just my profession, it's a calling that has touched thousands of lives, guiding them towards better sleep and, by extension, a better quality life. Let me share this journey with you and help unlock the door to a night of deeper, more restful sleep, paving the way for a life filled with energy and purpose.
Wow, that's so much more powerful than last week, Mel.
Hmm.
Amazing story. Absolutely amazing. If you start reading this, you sucked in. There's no way you're not. And you sucked in right from the beginning. My life was irrevocably changed by a cruel twist of fate. Same type of comment actually as with Chantel. Looking at, and I don't know, there's probably a small tweak here. This personal crisis propelled me on a quest. That's your second paragraph now, right? This personal crisis
Yeah,
propelled me on
yeah.
a quest for natural and effective sleep solutions driven by desperate need to support my family's journey and wellness. So that would, quote unquote, kind of be very close to this is my value proposition statement, or a version of it. So
Yeah.
it would be great if you could somehow allude to the story, because it's too long and it's getting lost in translation. So you might still suck us in, right? In all honesty, to click the see more button, because it's
You
that
want to
type
know
of
the end of the
story.
story.
You want to know the end of the story, and you're intrigued, and you're hoping it's got a happy ending. So just from the human perspective, it's a really good story. So it might actually just work as it is out the gate. I would tend to want to have a little bit of a hook, suck them in a little bit more, and then maybe let them know what it is that you're doing, and then kind of get into it. Because once,
So you're saying put something else, put a second paragraph in there before
yeah,
the third paragraph.
so I'm talking about the first paragraph. So the hook
Okay.
might still be, in March 2009, my life was irrevocably altered by a moment that felt like a cruel twist of fate.
Yeah.
Let's say a taxi man.
So if I go
It's,
to see less, let me show you, just go back there when we go.
yeah, our problem is the story is so good, but it needs telling. And
Yeah.
I don't want you to change anything. It's like, it's perfect
Yeah,
the way
I'm
it
happy.
is.
I'm happy to tweak at the end of the
No,
day.
no,
It's
no, no.
just
You can tweak, but I don't want you to tweak the story. The story is very powerful as it is. So like, no. Here's the thing: is sometimes we don't go and mix for stuff just so we can make
yeah,
LinkedIn happy, or fix a
yeah.
formula. Like sometimes the
There.
stuff's just freaking good. That is an amazing story. But you see, I'm sucked into the story, but I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I'm saying. That would work, by the way. Okay, I'm kind of being hypercritical in the sense of, I just know
No.
how people's
Yeah.
minds work. And if they're looking for something, it's like they might read that and it's like, what the hell has this got to do with sleep? And because they read the first sentence and then ping, they're gone. But that's how we
Yeah.
are. It's a terrible thing. This instant gratification. It's changed so much. I'll tell
Yeah.
you a story if I haven't told this before. I created a product many years ago when I first started. I used to create these digital products, and I honestly don't even remember what it was. And I wrote a sales page for this product. And bear in mind, I was following the templates of the day. So that was the conventional wisdom of how you write a sales page. This was to sell, mind you, a $17 product. Okay. I wrote 30 pages. I found it a little while ago. 30 pages. Imagine today trying to ask somebody to read 30 pages to sell a $17 product. So things have just changed, and we playing the percentage odds because we've seen our tracking studies and we know what goes on with people. So it is often quite important just to let people know, if you can use your hook and just springboard in, so that at least they know, and then when they click and they see the story, they're there till the end, and then they got to say to themselves, wow, if she could do that, she can definitely help me.
Okay, I'll work on it this week. Yeah,
that's the only change I would make. And if you sorry, just share again now.
Yeah.
And if you just sort of go down to the bottom of your story, because we were talking about value prop, right? Extended value prop. Again, you probably don't have to add a whole lot, because sort of at the bottom and this is so great because it's come as part of the story. So your value prop goes, well, this is what I do. People actually don't really need to know how you do it, because they'll just know you can.
Yeah.
But you've given them a bit of an insight of what it's about, like who you
Yeah.
are, the value system, and there's kind of no confusion that you help with sleep and that you'll get it done. So you see how you've covered the value proposition, even though you haven't done it like in step by step because you've taken the template. It's just actually you just wrote your story. That's all you did. And look what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. All right. Cool. Wow, some great stories here today. Jeez, you're killing it. Fantastic. All right. Cheers, Esther. Thanks, I might have missed that. All right. Let's talk about today, which is talking about credibility builders. So this is quite an interesting one and important for us. Because many times, let's actually get into the slides. Important from the perspective of when somebody's talking to you, and think further than LinkedIn, right? I'm giving you a lot of different ideas today, right? You're only going to have to choose one of them, quite frankly, but there's a number of them. But in terms of creating this credibility, there's a few things that have got to happen before people trust us enough to actually give us their money and to employ us, as it were, as their service provider. So one of the questions that people are asking is, well, can you actually do what you say? Can you actually help me? How do I know that you can actually help me, right? So a big part of that is going to be based on the credibility, and then can I trust you? So it's okay. So you say you can do the thing that I need. Okay, so you say you can help me. How do I know you can do it? I don't know you're taking my money, you're never coming back. These are the sorts of questions that people are asking. And so now this is where credibility becomes a really, really big issue. So I'm going to go through a bunch of options with you now. And again, not just LinkedIn, right? Put them on your BNI profiles, use them on your website, put them in emails, do all sorts of interesting things with them. But I'm going to go through a bunch of options. You don't need all of them, obviously. Pick the one or the ones, for that matter, right, that you think are going to be best for you. So let's have a look. So one of the first things we can do, here's a bit of a template, is when you're talking about your experience, because you've got and we haven't got into experience section yet, but some of us have touched on it here already in our in the about section, and there's a whole experience section. But when you're talking about the experience, right, you want to talk about stuff relative to the issue that you currently solve. So the magic message or the LinkedIn headline that you created, the rest of your profile really is going to back that up, because that's what you've shouted at the world. Listen, this is what I do, and I accept that's not the only thing you do. That's fine, but we have to have something that's going to get the foot in the door, and that's what we've achieved. So if I show you this example, I could have said something like, look, I was involved in the accounting industry for 30 years. I've been a financial director in both private and listed companies. I was a partner in small audit practice for 10 years. Now, if you don't understand the accounting profession, it has some impact on you, but doesn't actually have as much impact as it has on an accountant. So let me explain why. Number one, when people are studying accounting, typically they pass the exams and then they've got to choose. Which way am I going to go? And even if they decide that they're going to go into practice, then they've got to go through the whole process. And once they finish with their training contract, or their articles as we used to call it, then they're going to choose: do they stay in the profession or start their own business, or do they go into commerce and industry? Right. So there's different options that people can take. Now, that might not be significant to you, but it's very significant to them. So when I say, firstly, I was involved in the industry for 30 years, that statement alone says probably all I need to tell you. Okay, if you've been in the industry for 30 years, you probably know a thing or two about accounting. Okay, I'll tick the box. Honestly, for a lot of us, that's all we have to do, right? The next thing I say, I've been a financial director in both private and listed companies. Now, by the way, the job of a financial director is very different in a private versus a listed company, right? There's very different responsibilities on you in job A and in job B. Again, you only know this if you are in the profession. Otherwise, it probably doesn't mean much to you. And I was a partner in a small audit practice. So what I'm basically saying here, hey, listen, accountants, I'm talking to you. I've been all of you. I know what all of you do. This is very inclusive. You can talk to me. I'm the guy, right? That's all I did. And this is a little story, right? If you think about it, it's just a little anecdote, but it tells so much because I'm speaking to my ideal client, and it's relative to the issue I want to solve. So I'm talking to accountants, I'm including all of them, and then I'm saying, okay, look, I can obviously help you with client generation. So this is where, coming back, week one, like pick a niche. When you pick a niche, right, there's a number of things that happen. The first thing is those people are very, very similar in so many ways, right? So not only are they similar, but obviously they've got all the same issues and the same challenges. So when I write something like this, I know if I write this and I'm speaking to a very select group of people, it's probably resonating with 90% of them, right? Can you see how much more powerful this is than just saying, oh, I just help professionals generate leads and clients on LinkedIn? Completely different, right? So the more knowledge that you have, the very specific knowledge that you've got relating to your to your niche and your ideal client, this really helps you with this. So prior experience, great one. And that's why I said to you when we were talking about picking a niche, I said one of the most important things you can do is choose a niche that you know. And if you're lucky like I am to have been that person, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. Next thing, length of time in the industry. So we kind of already touched on that, right? Again, it's a great way to tell people that you've got the experience without having to say so. So again, yeah, I was involved in the accounting industry for 30 years. Okay, there's a few things. Tick the box, move on. Also, qualifications is a big one. So this is really this is better suited to professionals. So those are the people that have studied typically a four-year or more degree. They've got some sort of formal qualification. They've joined some sort of body, and then you can put some sort of letters like CASA, Chartered Accountant South Africa, behind your name, or CPA, that sort of thing. Registered auditor. Independent financial advisor, medical doctor, that sort of thing, right? So if you've got that, what it basically says to people is, hey, dude, I studied a lot. I've gone through some pain. I've got the T-shirt. So tick the box. So you can see many people can build authority, and a lot of you guys can probably all do this, right? By stating the qualification. If you don't have a qualification, so what? How long have you been in the industry, right? And if you're running your own business, how long have you been running your own business? Like often saying that, just length of time says tick, tick, tick. So here, again, I might say, as a chartered accountant, I've been involved in the industry for at least 20 years, right? Started my own practice 15 years ago and have been helping small businesses with their accounting and compliance ever since. Okay. Everything my ideal client needs to know is contained in that sentence. So we've just had that qualification of experience, the combination, pardon me, experience, time in the industry, qualification. Often that's simple as that, and you can tick the box. That being said, there's some other cool stuff you can do as well. So awards. If you've received any awards in your industry, particularly if those awards resonate with your ideal client, like if you got it, flaunt it. Like you did something to get the award. They didn't give it to somebody else; they gave it to you for a reason. That indicates that there's a level of excellence in what you do. And if you're trying to build trust and credibility without saying, hey, I'm trustworthy, it's like, no, that organization over there gave me an award. That's how you know I'm trustworthy. So anything you got, let people know, right? Pop it up there. Key clients. So if you are working in an industry and you've been lucky enough to work with other clients that are very similar to your ideal client that you're going after, but they're quite well known in the industry, then it's a little bit like social proof. People look at it and say, oh, okay, you worked with them. So you'll see on my profile, I talk about when I'm speaking to the financial advisors, I talk about dealing with advisors from all the big insurance companies. So even if you're not part of Liberty or Momentum or Discovery and you see that, it's like, oh, okay, well, you can deal with their people, you can deal with me. It's that kind of thing. So it's a little bit of authority almost, right? Because I'm living off the authority because I'm associated with Liberty or Discovery or Old Mutual. Right. So that's very, very effective if you've got key clients that you can leverage, but particularly if your target market understands that. So the same industry as your target market. So, you know, if you're, you know, if I'm telling accountants how I got leads for builders, it's like, what? Yeah, so what does that mean to me? Right? Nothing. So make it congruent. Results achieved. So if what you do, right, or if in the past you've achieved results, but if what you do allows you to get very specific results that resonate in your industry, you know, go ahead and say that. So if list any good results that you've achieved in the past, or for any of your clients. And I'm going to talk a little bit in just a minute about the difference between testimonials and case studies. This could definitely be a case study. So if you've got results, because that's what do people want? They want to know that you're trustworthy. How do I know you're trustworthy? Well, because I got the result that dealing with the exact same person as you, so one of your competitors, I got this exact result that you're looking for with them. Yeah, they've said so. Let me show you. I can prove that I got that result. Like once you've done that, people are looking at it and saying, okay, well, no more questions. Like they don't need to ask you for referrals, etc. Right? They don't need to speak to a client that you've already dealt with. That's what I mean by referral. They don't need to ask that because they can see there's lots of referrals. Okay, and in many cases they won't ask you that question. For those of you that get around a little bit and get published, there's a lot of opportunity here. So think of this, anywhere where somebody can go and online particularly physically see, okay, I can see the quality of thing that you've published, the work that you've published. So that could really be anything, right? So for example, as you know, I've written a number of books. So you can go to Amazon and you can see that I've published a book, right? Or I can give you a copy of the book, for example. But there's other things like industry blogs or websites or magazines, right? Again, if you've got a niche, it's very specific. This is very easy. When people see that you've been published in those magazines or you know those blogs or websites. Again, if those people are going to publish you, you must have something that's publish worthy. Therefore, you must have some trust. You must be able to do what you say. This is how the human mind works, right? It's all about social proof. Other things like you might have been featured on podcasts. There's some people, they build their entire marketing strategy on this. They do some stuff and then they go and they pitch people and they get onto podcasts. And they just do interview after interview after interview. Every interview, the interviewer says to them, so how can people get hold of you? And they say, oh, go to my LinkedIn, go to my website, do this, do that. And like they sign clients after every single time. Because people go there, they hear you speak, they say, okay, you know what's going on. So this would be the same thing with webinars, etc. Right? TED Talks, YouTube channels, all of those sorts of things. Anywhere where somebody can go see something and hopefully there's a little bit of authority behind it, they can see that you know your stuff. This is a great way to build some credibility. And then the last one we spoke about, the testimonials or case studies. This is a huge one. Like for those of you that have worked with a client, I mean, we're in the referral business at BNI, right? Why do people refer? Okay, because we trust one another. You got a great result for client A. Client A says, yeah, okay, I'm going to refer you to client B. We worked with each other. You got a great result for my client. Therefore, I'm going to tell somebody else, you know, that actually you are fantastic, that they should work with you as well. So how do we get to that? How do we use that? Well, if you guys have got any of those great results, instead of just relying on the natural referability of your BNI network, right? Build this into LinkedIn so that other people can see it as well. And also you can use it in BNI in terms of what you're doing. So what's a testimonial? Right? That's where somebody in their own words says something cool about you, right? I worked with Mel. I haven't slept through a night in my life in the last 10 years, and within a week I was sleeping like a baby. Like I might have written that. I might have said that on a video, right? That's me actually saying that. That's very powerful. It's the most powerful you can have, right? And particularly on LinkedIn, because remember on LinkedIn, people can click and they can actually go to the person's profile and say, oh, James is a real person. Oh, I see. I see what this is all about. Okay. And so can you see how the power of this referability just gets transferred when there's an actual testimonial? So obviously the most common versions of testimonials are going to be video or they're going to be written. So one of the things that I do, and I'll tell you now, I'm going to do with all of you at the end of this, is I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to have a Zoom conversation one-on-one, and I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about your experience in this process, right? And you should do this with your clients, because when you do that, what happens is that it becomes a very natural conversation, right? Nobody's putting on any airs and graces. You're just getting real feedback, but it's in kind of a relaxed environment. And then you're able to take the little snippets that you need out of that to substantiate whatever point it is that you want to make, right? So if I want to substantiate the point that I know my stuff, I would ask you a question, about, so what did you think about my level of expertise? Now, I might cut that piece out of the final video that I make, so you don't need to know that I've asked you that question, but you'll answer. Geez, James, I thought you were fantastic, marvelous, brilliant. Okay, I'm going to cut that little piece. And I'm going to put that into the testimonial, because you said that, and it's not out of place. I'm just showing you how you can gather this information and create really slick stuff. So when you see all these wonderful things on YouTube, this is how it's done, right? It's a great way to do it, and people will gladly give you testimonials if you've done good work for them. So it's very easy to ask for, and you should definitely do it. Case studies, on the other hand, are the reverse of that. So sometimes you've done amazing work, right? So in that little example we were using for Mel, so I don't give Mel a testimonial, but she wants to reflect that. You're well within your rights to say, hey, I met James, through LinkedIn. He's a LinkedIn coach, and he's working too hard. Went through some tough times. He hasn't slept well in the last 10 years. We did this. I gave him, this potion. I suggested this regime, and within a week he had his first, full night's sleep, and he slept through every night since for the last, 2 months. You can say that because it's true. If somebody comes to ask me, I can substantiate that. So it's maybe not as strong as getting the actual testimonial from the horse's mouth, but you're well within your rights to say that. Okay. If you do that, I just recommend, just ask the person. No one ever say no, I promise. No one ever says no to good service, but it's a good common courtesy just to say to people, listen, this is what I want to do. Would you mind? So even when I do that little exercise at the end, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. In fact, I'm telling you now already what I'm going to do. And not only that, I'm going to send you the questions beforehand. Okay, so you'll know there's no tricks or anything, and then you'll know, and you'll be able to understand. And then I'm going to say to you, okay, now when we have the conversation, throw those questions away. We're just going to talk, and that's a great way to do it. So that being said, those are some cool ideas, and really this is all it is. So do some brainstorming. So even if you think you've got your LinkedIn sorted out, do this anyway, because this stuff, I promise you, will move the needle in terms of a sale more than anything. Right? If people can see that you know your stuff and that you helped other people like them, and that there's genuine, legitimate reason to trust you, they're going to go with you above anybody else any day of the week, right? So very, very quickly here, we've been through this, but list your prior experience, relevant awards you might have won, professional qualifications, notable clients you've worked with, significant places you've been published, how long you've been involved in your current industry, and do you have any key client testimonials and case studies. So have a look at this, right? This is an example of something that I did. Now, if you look at this, remembering that I deal with accountants and financial advisors, you'll see here I took quite a lot of space, quite a lot of real estate on my profile is devoted to this piece, the credibility builder, right? Because I know it's what moves the needle. The more credibility stuff you have, honestly, stick it in the profile somewhere. Okay, this is the great place to put it, but if not yet, put it in other places. And if you've got a whole bunch of stuff that you want to showcase, I'll speak to me. I'll tell you other ways to do it that I might not cover in this program, but put as much of it out as you can. So if you look at this, I say my clients, and then I say I've worked with clients from. So when I created this, I was very specifically targeting financial advisors. So these are all the big insurance companies. I touched on that a little bit earlier. Like, okay, if I'm dealing with them, I can certainly deal with you. And then I say you might have seen my work on. So again, I've been published in different places. So Amazon's the book. Accounting SA is the premier accounting magazine for chartered accountants, right? SA Accounting Academy, probably the premier CPD provider in the country. These here are all the accounting associations, right? Now I'll get to the financial planners. So the Financial Planning Institute, again, it's very similar to SICA. So it's the top of the financial planners, right? CityWire is the top publication for them, and 702 everybody understands. So you can see this is not any old crap I've just put here. This stuff it's where I've been published, but it speaks to my market. It speaks to my niche. Okay, it's very specific. That's why niche is so strong, guys. You must do it. I'm telling you. You're not at a disadvantage by picking an issue, at an advantage, because there's always more people than you can service in a lifetime on LinkedIn. And then I've even gone ahead and I've had a little bit of space and I've just popped a couple of testimonials on here. So this is actually what clients have said. The only reason, by the way, I didn't put a name next to this, I don't have space. If I had space, I would have told you who said it, so that you could go to their profile and verify. You would see my work there. So guys, this stuff is incredibly powerful. You should do it and consider it. Any questions, comments, suggestions?
I've been playing around on LinkedIn and looking at other people's profiles, and then I get so excited when I notice that ours look a lot better
No, exactly.
than a lot of people's out there.
It's rubbish,
And
eh?
it makes a difference, eh?
Makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. Yeah. So what do you think about the credibility piece? Did some of you get a few aha moments there?
Get WhatsApp messages.
What's that, Chantal?
We get my WhatsApp messages from clients. We would have to ask permission to post those.
No permission, but they'll give it to you. The client,
Not a link
you're
that
right.
you can paste on it.
Yeah,
The client is happy.
yeah, but people are awesome, actually, generally. Like there's very few real shits out there. Most people, if you ask them, they're always happy to help. It's just the trick is not to make it difficult for them. Right? So if I say to you, hey, Chantal, won't you give me a testimonial? Your first reaction is, yeah, sure. Okay. I say, thanks. Can you send it to me next week? You say, okay. And then you go off, and now it's the day before you promised it to me. Now you're sitting down and you're thinking to yourself, what the hell am I going to say? I've now just created unbelievable stress in your life. You wanting to be kind to me because I've asked you for a favor. You've willingly said yes, but now it's like, oh my goodness, what the heck am I going to say? I've caused stress. So a big part of this, that's why I said to you, I'm going to do the interview, right? So essentially, you're going to give me that testimonial, but you're not the one that has to go and sit and think about it. I could just send you a thing and say, hey, why don't you answer these questions, and you could write it. That could work as well. But the more you help people, it's our busy one sec. The more you help people, right, to give you that testimonial, the better it is. Anyway, Esther.
Thanks, James. So I was going to say, like, to make it easier, because I also have that problem. I created a Google form with questions that I ask my clients every now and then, and I'll change it sometimes. Sometimes I'll ask them about like how I've onboarded them, or I'll ask them a question about something like, let's say I help them with something that they needed urgently. It was a last minute thing, and I'll ask them specific questions that's easy makes it easier for them to answer, rather than them having to think about the paragraphs that you could have liked for me. And then in that Google form, I'll also ask them, like, are you happy with me to share this on social media, etc. And often than not, it's not an issue. So
yeah. I've never had an issue. Yeah, you should keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to do this intentionally, just ask your client if you can have a chat. So tell them what you're doing. Absolutely. hey, this is what I want to do. Would you mind if we had a quick Zoom interview? I just want to ask you a few questions, and you can tell me honestly, answer from the heart, honestly. You don't have to influence that. That's not what you're trying to do here. And you'll find when you do that, they often they give you more. Then you've got it. Like, so see this this Fathom note taker up here, on the top left, right? This thing is a little note taker. It hooks into Zoom. I don't even think about it anymore, right? This whole call is recorded. So those videos that you guys watch, every single session, I just downloaded from this thing. I also get the transcript if I want it. So when I'm coaching my clients, I just give them the stuff. So what you could then do is you have that little interview. It's recording in the background. It's transcribing, and then you've got everything. So you've got the transcript. You'd have to read through it because it makes the odd error here and there, but fundamentally you don't have to type it down. And you've got literally everything you could want. You could cut up little video snippets. You can take, you know, what they said because now you've got it. It's such an effective way to kind of repurpose, if you like, the information. So, like, let's say you wanted to substantiate a number of things. So let's say you wanted to substantiate that you know your stuff, that you're always on time. That might be another thing, and that you save the money on tax, right? So there's three different things. Like when you're having the interview, you just ask 3 leading questions, you know.
Yeah.
So what is the difference been in the tax that you paid from before you to now? And so your bit's cut out like in the final piece. Right? That's you're just the person that's trying to move them in the direction of the answer you want for the thing you want to substantiate about yourself. And then they'll answer that question. You know, if I worked with you, this is what happened. I hadn't submitted tax returns for 3 years. I was really worried. You came in, you sorted that out, and you found a big error. So I actually got a tax refund instead of paying, you know, the 100,000 rand that I thought I was going to have to pay. Right? Story done. You don't have to do anything with that. That's extremely powerful. Now you've ticked the box of, okay, I can save you tax. And then you ask them another question. So how have you found your monthly accounts and your year-end submissions? Have they been on time? Yes. And then they'll go in and they'll explain to you, yeah, geez, before we met you, it was to be all over the show. We haven't paid a penalty, since you've taken over our tax because we've been on time every time. And our other shareholders are so excited because the accounts come in, you know, within 30 days of year end, not like 6 months like it used to be. Right? And then you've got the story. You don't have to do any marketing. Your clients will market for you. It's a great way to do it. So it's taking what you guys are doing just to another level, because now you've got the assets that you can use elsewhere. So at least you guys are an online chapter. A lot of the other people that I've had connections with, not just BNI, but other network groups whose focus is offline, because I mean BNI was built on that idea of the local chapter. They really have no idea of the power of online, because the worlds are not there. Their worlds are in let's meet one another locally, and suddenly you say keep doing that, don't change that. But hey, what if you just add this online thing? It just explodes your business, and particularly if you are in a situation where you can actually work online. Like Chantal, you might be limited obviously because of area. But Esther, you can go online. Mel can go online. Lisa can go online.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's not just a few people. Suddenly, it's, in fact, okay, other than Esther, Mel and Lisa can deal with people anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we do. We have a couple of overseas clients.
See?
Yeah.
So, you know, part of me doing this is I'm trying to get to a point where I can, as I said, try to accelerate the process that you guys do week after week after week. I'm trying to prove a different type of concept, and so by us using LinkedIn as a tool, really, even though for you guys it's not just a tool, it's actually a real result. For me, it's a tool to get you guys to get to know each other a lot a lot better. By the time this is finished, like, you guys will know each other backwards, because every week we go through this. Some weeks we go through things over and over, and you've seen each other, you've seen the metamorphosis. Look at Mel's story, look at Chantal's story. It gets better and better and better. But by the time this is over, you guys know everything about each other. You know the nuances, you know how to refer, you know what to say. And when somebody says, can you give me some info? Yeah, check out our LinkedIn profile. And then you know that's ticked. And in fact, it's not only going to be check out our LinkedIn profile. By the time we finish this, it's going to be check out our LinkedIn or a BNI profile. We can do both of those. Yes, Chantal.
That's so true. What James is saying now. It's exactly true. I've actually gotten to know you guys better and what you do in a totally different way with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So that was my prime objective, actually. For you guys, I understand LinkedIn is key. So for me, I'm using it as a tool, but I say I'm using it as a tool, but I'm actually learning quite a lot in the implementation, because next year I want to do this on a bigger scale. And this has been quite useful to see what works and what doesn't. Like we changed the format on the first day. It's like I did not expect that. It was like, okay, that's what the market has said. And it wasn't so much you guys. It was like, but the other group, yes, they're naughty. But they've actually come a long way as well. But yeah, the first day I put them in groups. I said, no, okay, now go do what I told you. They just networked. They don't want to know my work. They're just talking. I said, all right, well, we're going to talk more, and you're going to do this for homework. That was that. So it's been fun.
We look forward to meeting these naughty people. That's all we're going to say. We're going to have a joint network function.
Yeah, probably. Actually, that's probably the most ideal thing to do. So when we sort of through, and there are probably one or two other other things. I've got something specifically in mind for you guys when this is done, because I want to help you grow what you guys are doing specifically. I'll talk to you a little bit towards the end, but yeah, I think there should be a session or two where we bring everybody together, maybe a few. So maybe I'll do a little something or another. We bring you all together, you cross-pollinate, because why not? And again, I mean, if these people have chosen to be on this, there was already some propensity to be involved in networking. To my knowledge, none of them are BNI, that's for sure. So there's
there we go. We invite.
There's great opportunity for you there. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. There might be in other networking groups. I don't know. I haven't really gone there because of the nature of what we're doing. But there must be, yeah, 100%. We will certainly do that at the end of the program. All right, folks.
Amazing. Thanks so much, James, and well done, everybody.
Yeah, you guys have come a long way. This is fantastic. All right, we'll see you next week. I gotta go and have a shower. I gotta get to that's how the end of the world now.
Gotta go to Somerset West.
Gotta go to Somerset West. Yeah. Okay. Cheers, guys. Keep well.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.